What's up, Deb Nation? My terrible E40 voice there. Per usual, we're here to break down all the things that went wrong against the Spurs the other night, and we're coming up against the Sacramento game. I realize that, per usual, I'm a little bit late on this, but all the back end work for the clips and everything takes a while. And so we're going to pull up the back screen and we're going to jump right into this. And forgive me for just flying through this, but there's really no choice. We had like 30 clips of mistakes and I've boiled it down to the main ones. So let's begin. It started great. Okay. It started out great. We got Clay right here, gonna use his gravity. Two Spurs will go to him. You're seeing today on that other app that Elon owns, a lot of questioning about should Clay be benched and everything. This is why Clay can't be benched, because two guys are going to lunge at his threat of a three, which allows Wiggins to get actually this is Moody, which allows Moody to score the easy dunk. All right, we're going to fly through these. Wiggs started out with a very promising jump shot. But then the Spurs made 8 field goals in a row. That's 8 straight possessions. They made a bucket. We couldn't stop them at all. And during these 8 field goals, we made a lot of mistakes. Let's go through each and every one of them. And this is where the waves of mistakes start to happen. First one, Steph just throws the ball away. And let me move this just a little bit so you can see the time and score. It's early on, right? So the first wave of mistakes happens pretty early in the first quarter. And we can't come out this way. So anyways, completely overthrows Wiggins. What's up next? Let's fly through these again. Clay with some face palm. This is, kind of a Clay up. He's going up against two guys with the third help being Wemby. Not the best decision, right? Misses that one. Wemby rebound. Wiggs shoots a 3 with 15 on the shot clock. Inexplicable. Just inexplicable. Okay. And then I made a little bit of a mistake here, but with the titling. But the next one is also here. Wiggins cuts late. So if we kind of step back, I hope I can do this. Let's see. Watch Wiggins. The force of the cut is just not there. It's kind of like an ambivalent cut. So he's late and Looney will get the turnover. You're going to see some more cuts that were not forceful. There's the slow Wiggins cut. It's a turnover. On defense, no resistance. Right here, Wemby sets a pick. He's used by Popovich as a screen setter a lot. And that's great because then he can be the threat to pop out and get whatever he wants. But Clay doesn't really offer any, resistance here to get to the shooter, Keldon Johnson. So what happens? No communication there, by the way, between Moody and Clay. And we're going to see more problems with communication here. Clay just gets beat straight off the dribble. There's just not as much desire to stop Keldon. Steph will do what he can. He's a little bit late on the help, which means then Wiggins is a little bit late. Everybody's a little bit late, like 0.2 to 0.5 seconds late, and it creates an open 3 for the Spurs. There's the open 3 for the Spurs. What else did we do wrong in this stretch of 8 straight buckets? Pick and roll defense, non-existent. Now here, I'm going to give this with a little grain of salt in a moment. You'll see. All right, so Looney is covering Zach Collins, and then he goes to help, and then he just leaves them all up here. Moody's left out to dry, 2-on-1 up here. Let's roll the tape. Look at that. Nobody is covering Branham. Luckily, Branham is like a 25% three-point shooter, so he bricks this one. But it was the attention once again on Wemby, and we already had a guy down here. Granted, he's much smaller than Wemby, so I don't really want to throw Looney under the bus for this decision, especially when this guy shooting 25% only. But I think there really is some vocal communication issues, and hopefully Draymond, when he comes back, will solve a lot of that. So they got an open three, but he missed it. Another wave of mistakes, just waves. This one occurs early second quarter. Watch. JK actually doesn't know who he's guarding. He's supposed to be guarding McDermott. Now, this is in transition. We're getting back. And just the pickup and the vocal communication of the guys is very poor. So watch JK guard nobody, and that's going to create a 5-on-4 situation for Doug McDermott here. And they swing it around for a three-pointer. Good. Sometimes the video right here is going to be a little choppy. It's just something I got to do in order to show you the highlights. All right. Now here we actually have Trace Jackson Davis. Bad screen. Watch. Why are you leaning? You don't need to be leaning right there. Steph, more mindless mistakes. Throws it to the other team. There's another one. However, GP2 saved the day on this exact possession. He comes back and, had to include this, the block on Wemby. All right, but now we're right back to it. And again, this is another wave, okay? So that was a wave of a couple of turnovers in a row. It's not like one turnover and 3 minutes pass and then another turnover. It's literally one after the other, or one defensive mistake, a turnover, and it just is almost like a virus that we have. So this one, what happens here? Clay shoots a crazy three, gets the rebound, and shoots another crazy three right after that. So that's Clay face palm, and then a Clay up after that. Watch, this is occurring right after the last play, and he will take it on two guys with a rather, pedestrian attempt. Okay. Then Wiggs joins the party. Later on, I should say. Here's another wave coming. I collected these in waves. Again, I had 30 clips that I narrowed down to ones that occurred in waves. So Wiggs is just going to shoot the ball here. There's only 5 seconds on the shot clock, but it's an air ball. And there's no chance of a rebound, whatever. That was just, might as well hand the ball to him. Then he gets blocked by the rim on a bad reverse. And then again, we're in the 10 to 8 minute range here, and you're going to see Steph. He gets beat. See ya, Steph. Watch this. Watch Steph right here. He gets the screen from Wemby, and then the guy beats him. It's just not as forceful. There's no physicality here. There's no physicality on the point of attack defense by Steph right there. So on this screen by Wemby again, he didn't even use the screen. He just went right by Steph. Very little resistance. So during the game, I'm like, wake up, guys, please. Okay, here's another wave coming up. So late in the third, Clay passes the ball to the corner to GP. Then he stands around waiting for GP2 to do something. GP2 is not a playmaker. Then Clay will nonchalantly do a cut. That's not physical basketball. That's not forceful basketball. They're just sauntering out there. So look at Clay just sauntering. Then Steph shoots a very tough three. And then right here, he tries to get Dario involved, but he should have just scooped it. And this occurs right after the previous play. And Dario ends up traveling. Then we commit more turnovers. Again, around the same time frame, late second. JK right here, he's going to blow by his guy and then throw it to the other team. Now, I guess he didn't really blow by him that time. Here, what are we doing? Just what are we doing? Still, again, with about a minute left. Dario tries to drive and then loses the ball to the other team and they go fast break on us. So all of these are happening in waves again. But something that was good was the CPJK pick and roll. Look at this. Watch this action. It's going to end up with CP getting in here and then dishing it back out to JK. I wish we did this more than twice the whole game. So JK attacks again. Sometimes on these highlights, I kind of have to cut them in weird spots. So that's a score for JK. Here comes another one. Here's the second JK CP pick and roll. It'll be the second action. Clay flares out. JK then does the pick and roll, and you're going to see beautiful basketball here with tremendous speed by JK to score that. And then we went away from it. CP probably is thinking, oh, let me get everybody involved. The next play went to Clay. He missed the jumper. And that was the end of the CP JK pick and roll. I hope we see it again someday. Of course, the Saric pick and roll with CP is also bread and butter. So we're going to have to be selective on this. All right here, this should have been the nail in the coffin, right? You remember this? That was the relocation by Steph. I'm sorry for the poor replays, but Steph dribbled into here, went back to Chris, and Chris immediately found him right here for this 3-ball. And it's great to see Chris get sort of into the spirit of Warriors basketball to give Steph the relocation. We're up by 15. The game should be well in hand. No, we're going to give them a final wave. We're going to hand the Spurs a final wave. I mean, granted, the Spurs are a pretty talented team in and of itself, but we're going to give them a final wave of mistakes that nearly cost us the game. Let's go ahead and watch this. So the 3-ball was right before this, and then around the 2.5 mark until all the way down to the wire, we're going to make a whole bunch of mistakes. The first one here is Andrew Wiggins. You don't set a screen like that. You mean stay straight, and he doesn't do that. That's an offensive foul right there. Steph goes into mindless mode. Just crazy dribble, like that's an AAU turnover. And let's have Steph step on the sideline. That's just nuts for a veteran of his stature. Then we'll do a moving screen by Dario. That is not how you set a pick. Stay straight, stand up. And then GP2 is going to cross over slow guy Cedi Osman, but instead of going behind the back to go that way, he goes in front and it hits off his foot. Another turnover. And then finally, this is the last one. CP doesn't trust Looney, and there isn't enough vocal communication. Looney pretty much has Wemby in front of him, especially with Steph doubling. So Wemby's just going to go to their shooter, Cedi Osman, and CP abandons Cedi, and we pay with the 3-ball that puts us with only up 3 with what was that? Let's look at it one more time. A terrible job by me cutting this, but right, his 3-ball cuts the lead to 3 with 24 seconds left. And so that's why I finish on the guy with the pursed lips. That was just a very interesting performance by our Warriors. So we got to cut this out. At least they know what's going on. Let me show you a little bit of Steph. He knows.
And defensively, be more connected as a unit and trusting each other a little bit more so that we can be better, like the point of attack defense and knowing that we have help side and like just being more organized on that front too. So Draymond being back helps a lot, not just because of what he does defensively, but the way he communicates.
And Dario keeps it real. Check this out. He's going to talk about how the Warriors play the 0.5 basketball, and that actually leads to more turnovers. So I get that.
Obviously, we play fast. We try to, get all guys involved. It's not just like ISO things. So, obviously, teams who play like more ISO basketball is like they have a less turnovers.
By the way, JK, I've been watching him play lately and certain one-on-one situations that he has available to him, he hasn't been taking those as much. And I think it's because there's a lot of this, which is 0.5 basketball. So this one requires quick thinking, and it's just another level that he just hasn't gotten there yet in terms of anytime we're not in zero point 0.5 basketball. So this 0.5 basketball example from the same game, this is actually what we want, and this is fine if JK can keep playing in this one. Gary Payton's going to end up with the 2 points on this one. But there are opportunities when this offense kind of breaks down and JK is expected to go one-on-one, and he's going to need to really go out of 0.5 basketball mode and into like Kobe, Kawhi mode, Mamba mentality mode. And I'm not sure he's just there yet to make that switch back and forth within a game. So watch this 0.5 basketball. It's actually really nice. That's stupid too. So that's like 5-6 passes. And that's part of the behind the scenes video that I posted from the Spurs game. Now Dario again.
But we try to play fast, try to play both sides, a lot of splits, a lot of cuts, obviously that number is going to be a little bit bigger, but 24 is much, and it's good, it's the beginning of the season, so we can see where we are right now, what we should do better.
And yeah, one thing, and I messed up this just now, but one thing is that they're still learning. So Steph right here will even tell you that they're still learning. Let me get this back. We still got a lot to learn. So it's crazy, but it really has only been 17 games. So give it some time.
Everything we had, still got a lot to learn, but it's nice to be still in it.
All right. The Spurs are well balanced. So you got to give the Spurs some credit because all of them are pretty mobile. All of them can shoot. Granted, Branham's only at 25%, as I mentioned earlier, but the rest of them are all 35%, even Zach Collins, Doug McDermott.
It reminds you of how much talent there is around the league. I don't care, 3-13, they challenge you for 48 because you have to kind of worry about everybody. And we kind of let our foot off the gas pedal a little bit down the stretch.
All right. So I think the key to all this is just Draymond coming back. He's more vocal. He covers up a lot of mistakes on defense. And, by the way, the videos that I showed you, the interviews, they're all on our channel. So I'll link them in the description and all that. But yeah, I think, Draymond is really just kind of part of this ecosystem. So you think of a coral reef, you think of 3 legs on a stool, Steph, Clay, and Draymond. We kind of need all 3 guys there. We're that fragile. We're as fragile as a coral reef. It just happens to be that way. And that's because none of our main guys are like physical specimens. It's not like the Phoenix Suns where they've got Durant, physical specimen, Devin Booker, physical specimen, Bradley Bill's more normal size, but 2 out of 3 guys having 6'7" height and well built. We're not that. So that's why it's more important for all of our guys to be healthy. And it brought to mind that kind of Steph and Draymond are almost like the yin and yang. So it's kind of funny. I just went and searched this, but on the left side seems to be more like Draymond characteristics, although it's not exact. And then on the right side, sorry, Steph, I got femininity over here for you on this side, but it's a little bit more joy and all of that. And Draymond does balance out Steph. And then again, they're also a mixture of each other. But I'm going to end right here with Draymond as well. Okay. Now, what he talks about here is that there's problems with lulls that are created by turnovers, which is exactly what I saw in the game, as you saw from these clips. And I explained on the live stream. And I hope you guys join us for the Sacramento live stream tonight, because it's going to be pretty much this right here that I'm explaining and encapsulating for you, just stretched out over the game, during the game. And then also this interview, you can catch all of it. And if you've already seen the Draymond interview on our channel, thank you very much. You don't need to stay any longer for that. I'm just going to play the next 1.5 minutes. But Draymond's talking about the lulls that turn into that are caused by turnovers, the lack of communication on defense, and then he says, "But I'm not the savior." And he goes into kind of nuances on that. But in my mind, he is the savior. So maybe I disagree with Draymond on that, but take a listen and thank you for watching. I'm just going to close that out like that. And hopefully we'll see you tonight or on the next breakdown. Appreciate you. And thanks for hanging in there, as this was a long breakdown. Next one that I plan to do is really just focused on JK. There's an opportunity to do one on Brandon Pajemski, assuming he does what his trainer told me that he might do tonight. We'll see. And I'll have more on that during the live chat or on the next breakdown if I do it on Pajemski. But I kind of want to do one on Kuminga.
Shore that up.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see the mistakes that are being made, that there's no communication. I think I can help with that. I tend to talk a little bit every now and then. So I think, I can help with that, but that's not going to be that's like, I can't communicate for everyone. I'll try. But what's going to make us great is everybody communicating. And it's not that you have to be as loud or demonstrative as me. You just have to say something. If you say something, it beats saying nothing, because at least I know you're there. If I hear you say something, at the bare minimum, I know where you are on the floor, and that helps, on the defense side of the ball. So I think it's getting everybody to talk a little bit more. It's not like, oh, man, Draymond's going to come back and be the savior and the communication problem is going down the drain. It's not. Will I help better it? Of course. But that's a team-wide thing that everyone has to take on that. I have to be a better communicator. And if everyone takes on that role, you get just a little bit better. And most of the time, a little bit better is just enough. And so I think that's something that where I can help most is demanding that everyone is communicating. Not that I'm going to be the person to come back and it's like, oh, he's the savior. That don't work ever. There is no saviors in the NBA. But what I can do is I can come back and I can hold more people accountable to communicating. And I think that helps us all.
All right. Well, if you made it this far, thank you for that. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. By the way, on that last point, one of the things that Brandon Pajemski's trainer told me was that, yes, they've talked about that accountability. BP did say that to his trainer. So that's confirmed. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. Appreciate you all. Bye-bye.